Hello, welcome. Yes, Timmins isn't here yet, so I'm just gonna do this solo, and I don't have a face cam. Well, not right now, anyways. Not where I'm located, unfortunately. So we're just gonna use the scuffed way of doing things. Regardless, welcome to the Digital Devils SSA RLCS team broadcast for the Winter Invitational. We're starting up our series extremely soon, so that should be neat. Hopefully my overlays working. My Rocket League crashed a second ago, so there might be some overlay issues, but I think we should be fine. I hope we're fine. But looks like our series is about to start. Let's hope that shows up on stream. And it does. Okay, that's all perfect. Alright, let's get this series underway. Digital Devils in the past have, in this split at least, have gone 1 and 2 in their group both times, making it out of the group in quite a close affair in their groups, but not quite able to get that playoff win. They have had impressive wins against teams such as SRZ, who have performed well in the past, but they only really performed that well in the first split. Haven't quite been able to replicate it in this split in particular. They're looking to replicate results like those, like they had against SRZ. Apex, a very good team here. Shadow trying to get a double touch, but didn't quite get it in the end. Eventually, Lackstar will come in though. We'll just have a very easy net here. Digital Devils trying to get a 50 there, and the other teammate couldn't quite get to a low on boost, and eventually they have been beaten. But you know, Apex, they are a very good team. They're sort of like in the second tier team. Actually, Beckford just about able to scrape one in. No real defense here for Apex. A surprising one here. You know, one player leaving the ball, the player in the midfield not quite going for it, not quite committed as he may well had to be. And just like that, Digital Devils have tied things up. And as I was saying, Apex, they're kind of on that cusp of reaching the top tier. Obviously, Limitless is kind of in his own tier. I think this might just be a free shot, not quite making a count there for Apex. They definitely should have scored that one. Olympic trying to get to the back, but actually Whiff coming out. Both teams not quite feeling it as of yet. Seems to be a bit of a warm-up game for today so far. Oh my, that was such a close attempt there from Apex. The double tap attempt. Like Apex definitely should be leading here, but they've not quite capitalized on their opportunities. And Digital Devils, they don't really seem, weirdly, they don't really seem that worried about trying to stop those attempts. They're fine from what it looks like. They're just kind of sit and hope at times, which can work out, to be fair. Your Shadow going on the ceiling, looking like a very mechanical play, trying to get a dunk as well. Bigfoot's just about able to get that one away. But already we can already see Shadow, big mechanical threat on the other side. Here, Olympic, I believe, originating from Switzerland. At least that's what it looks like according to Wikipedia. Original almost. Getting out with the ceiling and getting the touch down. So far, Apex definitely looking like the better team. Digital Devils, though, they've had a couple good results in the past. They've even got White Rabbit Gaming to Game 5. And I believe it was the first regional this split, but haven't quite been able to replicate that as of yet. After Lackstar now, eventually. I mean, it was kind of coming. It was kind of coming. Apex, they were pressuring a lot. Here, a good shot. Olympic, I think, was sitting somewhere near the back post, so couldn't quite get to that one. But hey, this is to be expected. at least on paper. So we'll take anything we can get against a great team like Apex. Well, that's a good shot there, but just a bit wide. Digital Devils seem to be aware of that completely. Yeah, good pass from Original. Nobody quite in position though. It might just be a free opportunity. No, Laxdor is in position in the end. Yeah, actually, really good attempt here. Siphon not quite able to get around the ball to get that shot on target. But Digital Devils looking a little bit better here in the latter stages. Yeah, flipper side coming out. Might just be a double tap. Yes, it is. Shadow. Oh my. Mechanics put on display by this man. Siphon, unable to read that one. Bigfoot just completely starstruck in defense. I mean games. Yeah, okay, Timmons has arrived. You can you can join up after this game then. But to kind of fill you in on game one, at first it looked like to be a bit of a warm-up game for both teams, as neither team looking quite comfortable to start out with. But you know, since the first minute or so, it has been pretty much all Apex gaming. Specifically, we're looking at Shadow already getting some extremely mechanical plays. Specifically, looking at that last one he just scored. And Original is actually a player I've been a fan of. You know, when the first time I casted SSA, which I believe was the last spring regional of last season for Dynamic, and I remember they played against a Digital Devils side, a completely different roster than the one we're casting here today, and they actually had Original on their team, and I was really impressed by him, especially because he was actually listed as a sub at the time. He looked really, really impressive, and I've been a fan of this Apex side, but they've not quite gotten to that top tier as of yet to join the likes of Nixa, Parrots, and maybe even White Rabbit Gaming now. They're kind of sitting in that fourth spot, I believe, right now. So for Digital Devils, if they're able to kind of keep this series close, it would definitely be impressive for them. They've done that in the past against top teams, but so far looks to be quite a fair bit in favor of Apex. As the ball eventually hits the ground here. Alright, Timmons, let's get you in. Let's get you in. I'll go in the chat. Yo. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm just gonna. Okay, I'll fix that. I'll fix that.
Just the beautiful voice of Sib. Yeah, Jake, you're late to the party, Jake. I've already said it.
Okay, connect to my screen so you can see the game.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, sorry for my tardiness. One cannot just miss on school. Why is there two? DT4, VNRE, and H8RO.
I'm DT4 VNRE. That's me.
Okay, cool. I don't know why there's two, but
it's probably my laptop.
Oh, possibly. Alright, there we go. I believe I am now able to see.
Alright, there we go. Alright, how's the audio for Timmons, by the way? I haven't been able to check.
Yeah. Do I need to make sure my mic is quite close to my mouth. Hoping this is all sounding okay. It's a little bit awkward just with how we've set this up with me joining quite late, but that's when you missed one game.
Yeah, to be fair, it's not been that long.
Okay. Yeah, you know, only one game, and we're going to be here for quite a while, so I haven't actually missed much if you look at it that way. We're getting on to game 2. Obviously, I believe I just saw right at the end Apex managing to take the win against the Devils in game 1, but as you mentioned that it was a warm-up game sort of for both teams, so this is really, if you think about it, this is almost like the first game of the series now, Jake. This is the first proper game, though. That's not the best of starts for Digital Devil, as Original, who you said actually, you know, he's impressed you so far, he's impressing now, he gets the first goal just 11 seconds in.
It did not take long, that one. Goodness, Timmons. Tardiness, yeah. Imagine tardiness, honestly.
Good not, honestly. Awful.
But it looks to be the same story so far in game number 2. Apex still on top here. But, no. We never know. Maybe a quick comeback, a quick response. Last game, Digital Devils actually had a quick response to Apex's first goal. We're hoping to see that and more in order to win this game, of course. Original here, trying to clang this one forward. Shadow will see what he could do here. Actually going for the target there. I'm surprised. I thought he was going for the midfield pass there, but maybe just trying to play it a little bit more straightforward, a little bit more safer here. Not quite wanting to commit the whole team, which is respectable, of course. In this first minute, still definitely in favor for Apex. Olympic getting bumped out of the way there. Lagstar not having to beat too many here, but one defender there able to slow down the play enough for the other one to be able to get back. Shadow to be giving this one away. Siphon not quite able to get too many threatening touches there. Just ends up giving it away in the end. And Big here, getting a reset here. Oh, actually pinched down midfield, almost a shot coming through, but Digital Devils not quite able to beat the defense.
Yeah, that's really just about the first, I think, proper chance the Devils have actually had in Game 2. It's mainly been a defensive situation for them. As of yet, as a chance coming out here, my goodness, Apex almost managing to find a goal to double their lead. Digital Devils will have to try and find some more attacking aggression going into the rest of this game. They haven't really had much as of yet to speak of. They've managed to hold on, besides the one goal right at the beginning. As I say, that Lagstar was an incredible shot just off the crossbar, not quite finding its mark. Just the Devils left wondering what they can do actually to just maybe get some attacks going, because right now they are on the defense just constantly.
Here, Bigfoot having to get a big clear. There's a lot of good pressure coming out from Apex as usual here. The standard being set here for Apex in this series already. And I feel like in the past, Apex have always done quite well in groups. Not quite been able to replicate that performance in playoffs as of yet, I believe. They've not been able to get a top 4, I don't think, in recent times anyways. But I feel like the way they've been playing, they definitely look like they could here. Olympic pretty awkward here, as original. Can I go for the corner, but Siphon in position. The ball in the midfield. Shadow going for the shot. A good save coming out from Olympic. Keeping Digital Devils within 1, but they still need a bit more here. They're not quite looking consistently threatening. Have been pretty much sitting in defense, imprisoned over there. And all around Apex. And I get us in the midfield now. Lax are actually getting a double touch. Will allow Bigfoot to clear it off the backboard. Here, ball in the midfield. Laxstar was in position, but Bigfoot able to get away.
Yeah, I think we can give credit to the Devils here so far for their sublime defense as it has been. But as I say that, maybe a bit of Caster's curse coming out, and if Original finds his second, as I'm just saying, that I was giving props to Digital Devils for having some really strong defense and really holding on for the entire game, other than the first 11 seconds where I did concede. As I'm saying that, Original sort of just managing to find a crack in the defense there, Digital Devils. Makes it 2-0. Clearly I shouldn't be saying how good they are, because they need sort of an opposite of the Caster's curse almost to try and get a goal here. They are looking obviously to find 2 now in an attempt to get this back. Obviously going 2 down now would mean they'd have to reverse sweep. It is only a best of 5, I believe. So it would be a great position for Apex to find themselves in. Obviously not that good for Digital Devils. So another chance coming out here, and Lagstar will manage to force it in. 3-0 now to Apex.
It's a pretty impressive performance here from Apex. Original being able to beat one on the defense, kind of almost faking that double touch, making it very awkward for that defender on the back, but to know what to do. And the shot comes in. Apex looking very, very impressive. So now kick off Olympic, not quite able to follow this one up. Teammate does instead. Ball in the midfield, should be pretty open. Digital Devils, they have responded, but they need a lot more.
Yeah, minute 32 remaining, I have to say, given how this game has gone so far. You maybe wouldn't quite expect Digital Devils to come back as of yet, but you know, you never know. 1 minute and 32 seconds, it's certainly enough time to score 2 goals, and maybe that'll be sort of a floodgate opening scenario. Digital Devils now with another chance coming out of Bigfoot can get past Shadow. Can't quite do so, but with 1 minute and 25 remaining, I certainly wouldn't count Digital Devils out yet.
You shouldn't count them out at all here, but looking pretty tough here against Apex. Lagstar able to get this to the midfield. Another shot coming through. Siphon just about able to get a touch. Here, flipped into the midfield. Pretty awkward here for Bigfoot trying to get to his side. Teammate not quite able to beat the defense there. Getting beaten by the defense of Apex. And it looks quite fast. I feel like that's one of the biggest differences here between these two teams, is Apex consistently outspeed the Digital Devils players, and overall it's kind of not really allow them to control the game whatsoever. Apex complete control themselves, and I feel like speed definitely has been a big factor.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, Apex have us be continuous and get things going, constantly beating sort of their opponents to the balls. There's another chance coming out. Maybe if Original can make it 4-1. The shot not quite enough. Olympic clears it out to the side, but with only 23 seconds remaining now, it's not looking great for Digital Devils. They're gonna have to find 2 goals in this short time span with the demo coming out there on Olympic on Shadow, but I don't think that's going to be enough to really get anything going. Maybe one more chance here if Bigfoot can get it passed into the middle. No, it's a 15, it's a 10-second countdown begins. I really have to say, fair play to Apex. It's been a good game for them, and we will be going into the next match on match point for Apex.
Looking like a sleep for Apex, but maybe, just maybe, Digital Devils are unable to take one game, and if they take one game, you know, they can take a second, and we might be able to get some momentum going. But actually keeping this ball up rather long here, so you never know, maybe a consolation goal, some momentum possibly. Olympic trying to get his midfield, but a big clanging clear from Lackstar that should eventually hit the ground, as it eventually does. Apparently I need to make my audio or the game audio slightly louder, so I'll put it like on 50. Alright, there we go. But is Timmons good though? Is Timmons on good audio? Am I on good audio?
Yeah, I suppose it's better if you can hear us over the game, but you should be able to hear the game as well.
I think it should be good. Oh my! Alright, Apex, I won't lie, they definitely look quite impressive. I don't actually know if we're fielding our main roster. I don't recognize Siphon from last regional, because we casted White Rabbit Gaming last time round. And I don't remember Siphon. I'm just going to look at the lineup here. I actually believe, based on their lineup on Liquipedia, they're actually using their sub here, so maybe this is maybe that's a factor.
Yeah, that's what we used to seem serene with all the subs recently. This obviously Digital Devils, we shouldn't be talking about other casts. As we get underway now for Game 3, obviously Digital Devils going into this perhaps a little bit nervous. I mean, maybe they'd expect to be losing to Apex at this point, but they would certainly like to not get swept. I say that Original, the chance was saved out by Bigfoot. This will all be here for Digital Devils to see if they can maybe begin a comeback in this series. Dangerous scenario here. Black Star's touch, almost finds way to the back of the net, and then another shot coming out from Shadow, saved that by Bigfoot. Again, just more and more offensive pressure coming out from Apex. Digital Devils just left constantly on defense, and you know, a lack of chances is really what's killing them here. They haven't had the opportunity to really score that many goals overall, I'd say. And you know, that's really just sort of dampening their chances here. Apex just with a constant pressure, just not letting them do anything.
He might just be a double tap. Actually, no, looking as it eventually feathered away here. Olympic actually going for the flip percent. Maybe that's what they're looking for. They're looking for a way to come back here, and maybe getting some confidence from getting a couple flip resets, getting a little bit mechanical, a bit mechy. But at the moment, actually, Siphon able to get to the midfield. No shot really coming through, and looks like eventually when Digital Devils do get in a position where they can really threaten the defense of Apex, they're not quite able to get that required last finish, and eventually a whiff comes out in defense as well. Bit of a disaster class here as Lackstar able to get the first.
Yeah, that might just be in a matter of time kind of situation. That will just again on the defense, it's just over and over and over. Eventually, if you're just constantly pressured like this, you are going to show mistakes that perhaps you shouldn't make, and that was shown right there. Lackstar able to find the first goal now with Shadow going for a reset play. Can he get the ball on the backboard? Not quite. He's pumped quite heavily off the ball. Original does find the read off the side and immediately makes it 2 for Apex.
This Apex side is it's pretty good. That's our takeaway from here, from this. They've been very dominant. You know, there was a little window. I'm gonna make you slightly there. I feel like you should be slightly there. But there was a little window where oh my, Laxa, what a great 50 here, beating the defense again. Apex, stop. They're already done. they're already taken out. Just absolutely incredible here from Apex. But there was a little window at the start where Digital Devils in game 1 it tied things up, and I was like, alright, you know, we're gonna keep it somewhat close potentially, but no, ever since then it's been all Apex, and doesn't quite look like it's going to turn around anytime soon.
Yeah, I mean, not to put sort of the Devils down as they sort of way of putting it, but I think this is very much a regain kind of moment. Just sort of a go next, just start looking for the next series, because as Lackstar makes it 4, it's not even as close of a game as perhaps you'd be hoping for at this scenario. The last 2 certainly were more of a competition between these two teams, but now with just still 3 minutes 11 seconds remaining, 4 goals from Apex so far. I think at this point Digital Devils are just playing for honor, and they will certainly just be looking sort of to see what they can do in the next series, see maybe what they can improve on and learn from this series as of yet, because Apex are just tearing them apart, it has to be said.
You know, for them, you could even see it as like a warm-up series for playing with their sub, because I'm sure they're not used to playing in this dynamic. So maybe this is the warm-up series. You know, going to the next one. Actually, now that I think about it, I think the next series won't be any easier, as they're playing at the next series. So
Oh,
you know,
no.
it's a 2 series preparation for the 3rd series, which is a must-win one in order to progress from this group into playoffs. And I think for Digital Devils, their sort of aim would be to get that top 8, because they've gotten, you know, they've made playoffs every single regional this split, but they haven't got that one win in there and able to get that top 8. That's probably their goal here. So as long as they're, you know, able to look better every series and win the 3rd one, progress out of the group, and then try essentially to win that playoff match. That'll basically be their goal here.
Yeah, I mean, to us, it's a Bigfoot. Despite a consolation goal still remaining, I can't imagine that would really spark that much of a comeback. But, you know, again, never say never. There's always technically a chance. But I think at this point, Apex have truly just shown how they are a stronger side. And you say maybe another difficult match going into the next series as well. Certainly might just end up being 2 series where you're warming up. And, you know, playing against strong opponents kind of help, and it may actually give them the edge maybe in that 3rd series to actually get that win and maybe make that top 8. That will be what they're looking to do here, obviously. But Apex, obviously right now, Apex just completely decimated them. No goals for the last sort of minute, granted. Maybe a little bit complacency coming out from Apex, since they really don't need to do anything more now to win this series. Digital Devils just sort of left trailing, not really much to be able to do. And yeah, it has been very dominant from them. And yeah, I think Digital Devils now, the main thing they need to take from this is just not letting them get it down, really, because, I mean, if they let this first series sort of dampen their spirits and make them sort of, need to keep their chins high and, you know, their heads up, because otherwise, you know, if they're going to the next series still down from the loss of this one, they're never going to be performing at their highest level.
I think they should be fine. Obviously, I don't know how their sub would react, but I think you know, the other two, they have gone 1 and 2 every single regional, so they're used to kind of being in the spot where they're kind of fighting for survival every single group stage, and they have been able to survive every time. So clearly, mentally, they should be at least somewhat fine, as they've been able to prove themselves in the past. Obviously, you look at that first regional specifically, where they were actually pretty close against a lot of the teams that did well in their group. So you know, they're definitely capable of doing well. As I think their main best results you'd look at, or their best series, is the one where they almost won against White Rubber Gaming Game 5. Unfortunately, just not quite able to close that one out. As well as their Game 5 victory against SRZ, who in the first split actually were able to get one top 4 finish, I believe. So, you know, if they're able to replicate that kind of performance, they'll definitely make it out of the group, and they could definitely make top 8 as well.
Yeah, that's certain as Blackstar makes that 5-1 now. It's not even any point really mentioning anything about that. It was expected to happen. It was just 23 seconds remaining now. I mentioned that the comeback wasn't really going to happen, but it was definitely possible. At this point, I think you can definitely count it out. There's Bigfoot trying to get something going here, maybe just to get a consolation goal. Cypher's shot, not even counting as a shot. It was just about that far wide. A bit of misfortune there, but the goal in the end wouldn't really have mattered, except maybe for a tad bit of momentum going into the next one. There's another chance here maybe, but no reception on the offense there. Digital Devils, a convincing win for Apex. It must be said, Digital Devils will have to regain.
They will have to regain. It's one of our favorite phrases here, and I won't lie, me and Timmons, we've got quite the record here for or a bit of a streak here for having teams that that have to sub someone in. I think it might be 3 events in a row now where we're casting for a team that has to sub someone in. So, you know, clearly we're the subcasters. I don't quite have your face cam on the overlay yet, but we'll have Timmons on the overlay for the next series. But yeah, do you think they have to switch anything up for the next one?
Honestly, it's hard to say. Obviously, maybe just honestly, the whole point was they weren't really able to get that much offense going which really is what sort of meant they could, because if you can't score goals, you're never going to be able to win a series. So they got one in that one, but at that point, I think Apex had already found themselves 4 goals up. But also, it's difficult to say because going against different opponents, they might have more opportunities. They might be put sort of on pressure less in defense, and that might mean they can expand their play more and more. So like I say, it is a weird one in that I can't really say whether they should do something different because I don't know how their next opponents are going to play. They need to try and hold on to a strong defense and then capitalize on the opportunity they do indeed get.
Yeah, I agree. I think they definitely could do a bit better, but the next series will be a tough one. But that will be a bit of a while in the future. That was a quick series, so we gotta wait a little bit before the next one is going to start. So we will be going to a short BR bank screen. Hopefully, we'll see you when we return.
You paint a picture in my mind. understand it. This wasn't the plan. Don't wanna demand it. I've done what I can. And I never mentioned the times you were rude. And I never mentioned when you hate the truth. Scared to lose it all. I won't stand a chance. And I don't wanna fake it. What if I can't walk away? Got me staying away. Hoping I don't make the same mistake. Same mistake. Hoping I don't make the same mistake. I don't like to leave things unresolved. Maybe it's madness. I'm begging you, please pick up the call. You're causing me damage. I should've known, wasn't your fault. Don't even matter. I wasn't thinking clear, trying to take it there. Scared to lose it all. I won't stand a chance. And I don't wanna fake it. What if I can't walk away? You got me standing in the rain. Hoping I don't make the same mistake. Same mistake. Hoping I don't make the same mistake. I'm just standing in the rain, hoping I don't make the same mistake.
Wasting time on my own. All the places you said we go. All this pain feels within. Footsteps fade, what could have been? Finally I feel more free. The end of you and me. Let it go, let it be. My heart belongs to me. My heart belongs to me. You're never gonna let me go, and I will never let you go. And now I'm feeling stronger, feeling stronger. You're never gonna let me go, and I will never let you go. And now I'm feeling stronger, feeling stronger. Feeling stronger, feeling stronger. You're never gonna let me go, and I will never let you go. And now I'm feeling stronger, feeling stronger. You're never gonna let me go, and I will never let you go. And now I'm feeling stronger, feeling stronger. walking home. I've seen so many people go. Learn to make it on my own. It's easier for me to be alone. So how are you? Keep cutting through. Claiming you're not like the other guys. And only if I could give you a chance. Show me that you mean it. We'll feel some type of way. Why do you keep chasing clouds? Believe before I feel something. Before I go and change my mind. Said, why do you keep chasing clouds? Believe before I feel something. Before I go and change my mind. Something must be wrong with me. Keep wanting just to see you show up at my door. Et même quand je suis froide, un peu indifférent, tu continues tout de même de montrer tes efforts. I'm trying to keep.
Hello, we are back. Well, sort of. We're sort of back to the Digital Devils SSA RLCS T broadcast for the Winter Invitational, of course, our Series 2, but unfortunately, Tibbins, as you would know, Olympic is not in the lobby yet, so we're facing a potential FF for Game 1 of this series. So, yeah, that's kind of the current situation, unfortunately.
Yeah, I don't actually. I'm not entirely sure what happened. I think he certainly disconnected from the lobby, and then beyond that, we don't know quite why he isn't able to rejoin, which is a bit of a problem. Of all the series that we'd have to FF, I'd probably take this one, because Nick's obviously top seed in this group, and obviously if you saw there. Well, you wouldn't see, but Arceon is an RLCS regional finalist. Nixer in general, RLCS regional finalist. So obviously this would probably be our hardest game of the day. So if we had to FF one, you know, it might as well be the one we're probably the least likely to win. But I believe Olympic has roughly a minute and a half left to join. But to be honest, I don't have that much faith that he's going to be getting back in. Just because, I mean, he's been gone this long, I really don't know what the problem is. Hopefully, at least, yeah, a minute remaining now to be our RLCS referee now. So if he doesn't get back, we'll have to wait even longer, have a very long break until the next series, which hopefully we would end up winning, because this obviously would be an FF for us.
It's
but
only
yeah, by the looks of
currently
it,
it's
we're
only
not
an
getting
FF for Game 1. If it's what was it? I think he said if it's another 3 minutes, then it's the FF the series. I think that's how he
in.
explained
Oh,
it.
okay.
But yeah, you know, I was saying earlier that the Digital Devils then might not be used to playing with their sub, but apparently they used to team with Siphon, so in terms of that shouldn't be too much of an issue for the team itself, maybe a little bit, but apparently they have some chemistry due to their past. But yeah,
I can't really imagine they can't get the third man in. Yeah,
Yeah,
well, chemistry, but if you can't get the third person.
they do need Olympic in the lobby. He's
Oh,
loading
he's
in.
loading in. Oh wait, the referee might like say anyway. Oh, I don't know how strict they are. How? No.
I
I
could
can see in the-
see. I can see in the
No, Arceon
DC
does say
chat.
too late. Come on, Arceon.
I
Come on,
thought.
come on, Arceon. Be nice. Come on. RCS referee. No, okay, I know there's rules and regulations, but he's Come on, RLCS. He's joining in. Just let him be. Just let him
No,
be,
it's
man.
fair. That's fair enough. That's fair enough.
No, it's not fair enough. I'm taking this to court.
All right.
I'm taking this specific referee to court.
Public announcement: Digital Devils have FF'd the first game. So
I believe my camera is doing that thing again.
yeah,
or it is
that's probably
flashing on.
that's probably on my end because I'm like alt tabbing.
Yeah, stop all tabbing. Jeez.
I'm trying to look in the game. Okay, I'm trying to look in the game.
Ah, the game's not important. My
Okay,
face is important.
That's true. That's true. I do agree. Olympic
And
is
your
joined.
face, on the big old side face. No, can't use face cam today. The most beautiful image I ever saw.
Okay, so
Well,
okay, yeah.
literally seconds before Olympic gets back in, we take the FF on game one, which is perhaps not ideal, but yeah, referee Elixir won it up in the series starting from game two. So yeah, looks like we will just be going into the next one, unfortunately. As if we weren't already likely to, struggle with this one. It was we're probably gonna struggle even more as we're already now down a game, but we'll just have to see how this goes.
We will have to see how it goes. I'm gonna transition into the game now. But you know, an interesting part will be the way we have to look at this is Olympic. He turned into Goku. He was in the healing pod, and now he's gonna get the extra boost, and he's gonna come in, be absolutely cracked, and
I'm pretty sure Goku is the Frieza before he goes Super Saiyan. So
he's gonna come in. He's gonna be absolutely cracked, and he's gonna destroy
he's
him.
gonna transform into a legend. That's what I'm saying. He's gonna ascend.
He's gonna ascend to the next level. Okay. Well, referee has said we're going into game number 2 for on Forbidden Temple. My not my favorite map, but it's pretty much one of my favorite maps. So it's a pretty good one. I'd love a bit of Forbidden Temple. And we're all good to go. It seems finally. Digital Devils having to FF game number 1. So here we are. Eventually, we do get the series underway, but Nixa, there will be a very tough matchup.
Yeah, I think that's always going to be the main thing going into this, the fear of just how strong the Knicks are. Obviously, I don't think any of us really need to say how good they are with the whole, regional finalist thing on the whole Arceon tag. But, Digital Devils just be almost, we mentioned the last series, might just honestly be just a practice game for going into the third series, in which we actually have a decent, a much higher chance of being able to actually win it and, make that whole top 8 scenario. So yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that it's 100% impossible at Digital Level to lose to Nixer, but it has to be said that you can only be euphemistic enough if it's realistic. I have to be realistic here, as Arceon very quickly does make it 1-0. It's sort of a situation that we were expecting.
It was, the series. This is just some preparation for the next one. Nixa, they did really good in the last regional. Of course, sweeping White Rubber Gaming in the group stage, as well as making all the way to the grand final, winning in Game 7 against Pirates in semis. So yeah, this team just made the grand final just last regional, and they're looking to kind of propel themselves into this regional as well. Digital Devils, they'll try to do their best here, but I do have a feeling that the best they can do is just make this series annoying.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a chance now if Bigfoot does get the pitch of the ceiling. Actually, it might be on. Oh my goodness, no! It wasn't quite enough to find the back of the net. Jeez. That was very close. I honestly thought that we were going to have a tied game there, but no, off the crossbar in the end, just about. Bigfoot very unlucky as Arceon now tries to get it past him. Can't quite do so though. Will now be Olympic, can't get it past, but it's a lower chance now for Nixon maybe to make it 2-0. Mr. Low not ends up being on low boost in the end. Still 1-0. Chance now, again, we might see a representation last series where we saw just loads of effective pressure from the opposition side, and I think Knicks are definitely a team that can sort of replicate that here and, make sure themselves are always on the defense. And if that happens again, it might just be a mirror image in which we get swept, but can't quite get chances going. Obviously, still a bit of a stronger side this time in Nixer as more and more shots are coming out. We managed to hold on as of yet, but we are already that one down.
Another great pass there coming in. Arceon able to capitalize on that one, but here, look at that great pass. Mr. Low able to get it to the backboard and puts it across for Arceon. Nixa able to get a good start here as the regional finalists get a good start in this series. Of course, they're getting that one, the first game for free, but looks like it didn't really hold them any back. The long little pause at the start here. Oh, Siphon might just have a free shot here. Might just be on. It does get saved, however. The shot came in slowly after a bit of a defensive mishap from Nixa, but still was not able to go in now as Bigfoot trying to redirect into the midfield. Olympic trying to commit to make anything happen, but in the process they do overcommit and Missilo will get the third.
Yeah, this is exactly what we feared. I mean, just 3 goals already, half the game remaining. I'll admit that Nixa's defense so far, there's only really been 2 chances so far for Digital Devils, I'd make the argument. But on both those chances, there was a real and genuine threat of a goal coming out from this orange side. So Nixa maybe need to make sure they aren't conceding this. Lest Digital Devils actually give them a bit of a surprise, because I think so far they have had 2 opportunities where they actually genuinely might have scored. Just a bit of defensive mishap there as I think Bigfoot ended up bumping Siphon. Chance now, Mr. Low can catch it, but he can't quite get a tap. It was completely open if he just got any kind of touch to the ball whatsoever. In the end, unable to get a touch. There's not necessarily leading it, granted. 3-0 up now, Nixa, with 2 minutes left. Might be able to make it 4. Arceon unable to get a pass like of Olympic though. Digital Devils have to reverse if they want to win, though, looks a bit from the start of this, but as we said, that is quite unlikely.
They even told me, Olympic told me, like this series will be tough, and it definitely has been tough. But it's going to be important for them to sort of look at the mistakes coming into this series and try to see how they can perform differently in their next one, essentially. And obviously, don't get me wrong, they're going to be trying their best in this series as well. It's not for granted that they will lose, but the way it's been looking so far, it does sort of look that way, and it's just going to be a case of first they're just trying to look for some momentum, look for how they can fix their mistakes, and then secondly, after they can see what, whether they can actually win the series or not.
Siphon might be able to get a double there, not enough boost just about get a touch, but it is continued. Siphon will have a shot saved, unfortunately, by Arceon. Despite being the 3 up the cushion, they are not relenting, they are maintaining this 3-goal lead, not allowing any Digital Devils attack to get going. But they have had more opportunities in the second half, certainly more than they had sort of in the games going into the previous series. The chance there, but just about unable to get a touch. What Olympic. I mean, a lot of reception and offense, but no one quite able to get the finishing touches now. Mr. Low taps it down. Olympic can't quite get the clearance, and Arceon does make it 4.
They do make it 4, but in fairness, I actually kind of think that Digital Devils had their sort of best looks in the whole game, essentially, in the last minute or so. So Digital Devils are at least looking a little bit better. Obviously, they had that really close attempt really early on, but that was pretty much the only attempt they had in the first 3 minutes and a half. So Digital Devils looking a bit better. Siphon getting a pretty good flick there over 1. They're looking a little bit more capable here. A skill steal. It's a good clanging touch. Mr. Low might just have a completely open net. No, it's good save coming out from Bigfoot. There we go. A little bit of a reaction coming out from the Digital Devils, and it was kind of required of them. They looked a little bit stale as eventually the ball hits the backboard. No reception there from the defense, and skill steal able to make it 5-0.
Well, it has to be said that I think we've got to give props here to Digital Devils. They're not going down without a fight, even in a series that they were just destined to lose. Nixa, you have to give them all the credit in just how good these players are, and I think that's very representative in the 5-0 that they currently have in Game 2. I almost said Game 1, but yeah, it is important to remember this is Game 2, and if Nixa do win this, despite that meaning they've only actually won 1 game in actual play, it will mean they will go into the next match on match point. Which, I mean, I think you do have to give Digital Devils props in that even despite the fact that they knew they were gonna, they were probably gonna not do quite as well, and they knew that they were 1 goal down, they knew that they were using the sub. There's all these things that might be downing on their mental, and even losing last series, as well, would also just make them feel worse. But I think they have had quite a few licks in this game, and despite, unfortunately, with Olympic unable to get a touch, despite going goalless, I think they had a lot of decent opportunities. I think they caught Nixa by surprise a little bit, maybe. So a decent game overall, even though they did lose at 5-0.
It was okay by the end, the way it started out wasn't great, but it looked a little bit better by the end. Obviously their defense, not as much. I think, much like last series, there's a quite obvious difference in speed between these two. But, in offense at least, they're somewhat connecting. They haven't quite scored this game, but they're looking better, so they can definitely look to make this last game at least closer. And, if they're able to keep it close, potentially even take a win. It's unlikely that the game difference will be important in this group, unless Unity is able to get upset against Apex, but I find it rather rather unlikely. So more likely than not, the game difference won't actually matter. So we shouldn't be too worried about this last one.
Yeah, I think there's something to be said about how Digital Devils, they've actually looked more like a collective in this game. They're getting passing going. They've looked certainly stronger as a unit than they did in their first series. Maybe probably getting used to their sub here. And if that continues, if maybe it won't mean they'll be able to beat Nixa, but it will certainly look better going into that final series if they can go in sort of understanding each other more and being able to play more as a team than a group of 3 individuals. I think that would really help them going into their last series. And getting underway here, it will be all eyes on Digital Devils to see if they can get a goal, maybe even take a win against Nixa. It's unlikely, but honestly, if they play just slightly better than they did last game, they could really maybe make it close. As I say that, Mr. Low, just 14 seconds in, forces that ball in to make it 1-0.
A little bit of a disaster class. Look at both teammates kind of bumping each other, and one ends up bumping the other really, really high and kind of pinches it together with the opponent into the net off the crossbar a little bit there. So very unusual goal, but it is definitely a goal that happened here. Double tap attempt from Skillsteal, unable to really get it on target here. Mr. Low trying to get a good 50, ends up just going completely across. Siphon trying to get us forward, but intercepted eventually. Ball in the midfield actually. Now a shot comes through, but couldn't quite have the power. Dunk came in as well, but that was saved as well. No real gaps coming in. Well, there are gaps coming out from Nixa, but they close them out in time eventually, so they don't actually end up conceding here. Now Arsion, big clanging hit again. And it's actually been one of the biggest things here. I feel like Nixa, their transition out of defense has been very, very, like, just clang the ball very, very much forward. And the Devils, very often, they are just kind of sitting very, very offensively, not quite being in those defensive positions where you just have to go straight forward, and that's how you defend the clang. Rather, I feel like players are having to be forced to track back a little bit, and making their defense a little bit awkward in the process.
Yeah, absolutely. They certainly have sort of had a lot of more offense in this series as opposed to the last one where they were just completely locked into the defense. They have obviously had a lot of defense in this series against Nixa, just how strong they are, but it's certainly been less of the case as now. Skillsteal going for a bit of an air dribble, won't probably be able to finish that off. No, a good save from Bigfoot. Danger not present now, it's just low. Unable to get a touch. I see a chance here if Olympic can maybe do something with the ball, has enough boost, maybe can only get a dunk. It's not really the best of touches, and Arsion will clear that out for Skillsteal to a completely open net. Is it in? Yes, it is. Bit too much of an offensive push there from Digital Devils, and they will pay the price for it. It will be 2-0 now to Nixa.
All we gotta hope, essentially, for Digital Devils is the reason why they're so out of place in defense. When I say out of place, I mean not actually being in defense. Is due to them trying to compromise a little bit due to the skill gap in between these two teams. Maybe they're just trying anything out they can to try to make things close. Olympic there almost potentially getting that those backboard double touch there, and a shot coming through. Good save from Bigfoot. But let's hope they're just trying anything here, really just trying to be annoying in any way, trying to be playing not the way they would be if they were playing against a team with the same level as they will be later on, or at least a similar level later on against Unity, as they're looking to win that one, but obviously not same roster as they were having before in this split, so you never really know what to expect here. Good play onto the midfield, but nobody quite there. This Digital Devils side, they're definitely looking, they're really trying to score. You know, it's been obvious they've been trying to be offensive, but they haven't really trusted each other the full way.
Yeah, it's actually quite frustrating. There's a few narrow margins in this game so far for Digital Devils. A few close opportunities I think they really could have capitalised on with a bit more communication, a bit more trust between the players perhaps. They have been so close to scoring a number of times now in this series, and it's only 2-0 so far. Maybe a chance here if we can go to the middle. No. Cleared out by Arsion. 2 minutes remaining. I hold out hope the Digital Devils can actually score a goal in this series. I think that'd be good for them if they can. As I say, that Arsion with an air dribble not quite in. It's bouncing on the goal line. Cleared out. Can it be rained out? Mr. Low can't get a good touch to it. Chance now made for Digital Devils on the counter. Can it get right in the middle? It isn't all touch into the middle there from Skillsteal, but it is cleared out in the end by Mr. Low. Again, just there was a chance there. Maybe Digital Devils push a bit more, kind of a bit more offensive pressure. Maybe they could have found the goal there after a bit of a mistouch to the middle by Skillsteal. But as of yet, still nothing having come of it. More and more attacks coming out now from Digital Devils in the last minute and a half. Maybe Siphon gets to the middle. No, cleared out by Arsion in the end.
You could even see in that mistouch on defense from Nixa, the third man didn't want to come in, potentially due to their lack of boost management or whatever, maybe a bit of confidence not quite being there for them, but they're unwilling currently to kind of send that third man in. When the play actually is there for you, they're not actually going for it, and when the play isn't quite there, they're actually overcommitting. So it's kind of committing in the wrong times here currently for Digital Devils here. But they're only to be fair to them, they have only conceded 2 games here in this game number 3. So maybe a late comeback possible.
Yeah, they've certainly kept Nixa on their toes. I think that's something they've got to be proud of. A team of this level of skill, and they have sort of kept them modest. They've kept them in defense a decent amount of time. It's actually almost been sort of 50-50, even maybe a little bit more for Digital Devils so far in Game 3, in terms of the amount of offense that both teams have had. It's a low another chance here, denied by Olympic with another save, maybe a goal chance here. It is looking like it will be a sweep for Nixa, unless it can be done. Another chance coming out. No, not quite. Digital Devil, this was so annoying for them. Just unable to find the winning touch to actually get that goal. 13 seconds remaining now. A flick coming out from Bigfoot, but as the 10-second countdown begins, it's looking less and less likely that they will actually find a goal, and Skill Steel will be able to find one though, even with the shortage of time on the clock. 3-0 now to Nixa.
That should be the dagger here. Skill Steel able to put it top shelf. Bigfoot not quite able to get there, and that should be a pretty clean sweep. Obviously, first game being an FF, but all around, Nixa clearly looking like the better team. Digital Devils had their fair share of attempts here, so trying to get a late consolation goal, but unable to do so. But we'll be back to the drawing board here, as Digital Devils have not won a game today as of yet, but their true test, if you will be against Unity in the next series, deciding who will be eliminated from the group and who progresses into the playoffs. But overall, I mean, I'm gonna ask you this again, because I don't think they should be using the approach they used in this series, the one for the next one. How do you think they should approach their series against Unity?
Well, I mean, I'd start this off by saying I think they played better in this series than they did in the first one. You might disagree, you maybe think they were a bit too sort of aggressive on their pushing at points, but I do think there's a lot of positives to take from the series. I'd say, honestly, maybe be more careful on defense. Their defense has managed to hold on decently in both series, but obviously eventually the amount of the time they've had to defend has eventually resulted in them sort of conceding. So I think in this game, especially the last game there against Nixa, they had a lot of chances, they just couldn't quite score. And I think that offense is good. They need to continue to apply pressure so they can actually end up scoring a decent number of goals. Maybe be a little bit more careful on it, because there was a number of situations in that game wherein they pushed so hard and it didn't work out, and that just left a completely open net. So maybe just be a bit more careful with how they structure their offense. But I'd say play more like how they played this series than how they played in the first one.
Yeah, that's probably fair. In the first one, you know, they probably got dominated a bit more than in this one. So that's a fair point to make. In the next one, we will be facing Unity, which is our must-win series for the group stage. But until then, we will be having a short beer back screen. Hopefully, we'll see you there.
You paint a picture in my mind. You wanna leave it all behind. In a world that's turning all the time, nothing could stop me longing for your eyes. I won't let it die. I can feel you when you're not around. When the night gets cold, I won't be alone. We won't be alone. skin. How could love wear so thin? I'm sinking in the hollow ground. Nothing can stop me wanting you somehow. I won't let it die. I can feel you when you're not around. When the night gets cold, I won't be alone. We won't be I won't let it die. I can feel you when you're not around. When the night gets cold, we won't be alone.
I don't understand it. This wasn't the plan. Don't wanna demand it. I've done what I can. And I never mentioned the times you were rude. And I never mentioned when you hate the truth. Scared to lose it all. I won't stand a chance. And I don't wanna fake it. What if I can't walk away? Got me saying away. Hoping I don't make the same mistake. Same mistake. Hoping I don't make the same mistake. I don't like to leave things unresolved. Maybe it's madness. I'm begging you, please pick up the call. You're causing me damage. I should've known wasn't your fault. Don't even matter. I wasn't thinking clear, trying to take it there. Scared to lose it all. I won't stand a chance. And I don't wanna fake it. What if I can't walk away? You got me standing in the rain. Hoping I don't make the same mistake. Same mistake.
wasting time on my own. All the places you said we go, all this pain feels within. Footsteps fade, what could have been? Finally I feel more free. The end of you and me. Let it go, let it be. My heart belongs to me. My heart belongs to me. You're never gonna let me go, and I will never let you go. And now I'm feeling stronger, feeling stronger. You're never gonna let me go, and I will never let you go. And now I'm feeling stronger, feeling stronger. Feeling stronger, feeling stronger. You're never gonna let me go, and I will never let you go. And now I'm feeling stronger, feeling stronger. You're never gonna let me go, and I will never let you go. And now I'm feeling stronger, feeling stronger. Feeling stronger, feeling stronger.
we have returned to our original run here for the Digital Devils in the SSA region for RLCS. Of course, the first two rounds not quite going the way we wanted them to go, but you know, we got our third series starting somewhat soon, at least, to my knowledge, which will be against Unity. Unity themselves have not done too well, of course. This will be pretty much, should be the battle for qualification for playoffs, or if you will, the battle for elimination here. Unity did take one more game in their other series, taking a game off of Nixa, but hopefully Digital Devils, they have been seated above them, they're able to take it.
Yeah, fingers crossed at least. Obviously, this is a vital game for both teams, having lost both their previous series. This is a now or never scenario for the both of them. And obviously, hopefully the Digital Devils can actually end up taking this as we get underway for game one. I'm hoping that they can sort of replicate the success they found. I say success, the very near success that they found in offense in their previous series. There's an early chance there from Bigfoot, beats that from a save by Potato, though. Maybe another chance coming out for Digital Devils in the side, but actually will find the goal. A bit of a mishap in defense for Unity, it has to be said, who just 13 seconds in, already scrambling, and Siphon just about able to get that, unable to be cleared out from the bottom of the corner by Blade, and yeah, Siphon makes it 1-0 just 13 seconds in.
So it's a good start for Digital Devils, important for them as well. You know, they've played 5 games and they've been pretty much destroyed in all of them. Only had like one somewhat close game. Had one game where they looked like it was going to be close, but then it ended up not being. So it's a very good start for them, as their opponents technically have taken more games today. So in momentum-wise, you probably would have said that Digital Devils had it slightly harder going into the series, but Siphon able to open up the scoring for us in this series here. Olympic almost going for a double tap, but ends up faking it in the end. Essentially, a shot comes through, might be in, and anyways, Bigfoot able to get that first shot, eventually gets saved, but the second one will not be saved by anyone. Looks like he got 2 players to commit and just had an open net.
Yeah, it's another scenario where a Unity just unable to get the necessary clearance. They're able to get the initial save, but then after the fact, they haven't cleared the ball out in a decent enough manner. They haven't maintained control of it either, and that's obviously allowed Digital Devils to get these 2 relatively simple and easy goals to already put them in the lead, which is very much what we'd have been looking for going into this. An early kick to the momentum of Digital Devils, it seems. There's a chance now coming out, first sort of opportunity there for Unity. Unable to have anything. Yopego's shot easily dealt with by Bigfoot, and so far Unity, a lot of questions need to be asked, and they haven't really found anything in the sort of first minute and 15. It's very much the Digital Devils just with all the pressure.
I don't know too much about, I believe it is Blade, yeah, and Potato, but Yopego, I know, you know, last season was a long time ago, but last season, I remember, I think it was in spring, Yopego had a top 3 finish in the regional, so Yopego not quite being able to replicate that type of results. And with Unity, you probably say they've been underperforming overall since they've joined this squad they've actually got together. Because I believe they used to have a different roster without Yopego, but ever since he was on the roster, they haven't quite actually gotten those results that you maybe would have expected from them. And Digital Devils all season long have looked pretty much a little bit better, and so far in game 1 have just been a little bit better.
Yeah, as I said, more chances coming out for Unity now. Still unable to find the back of the net in this first half of the game. Digital Devils holding on to that cushioned 2-goal lead as Siphon clears this out. Maybe a chance if Digital Devils hit down, perhaps. Nothing quite coming of it. Blade easily gets a Potato over into the backboard. Easily dealt with in the end for Siphon. Blade gets demo on Bigfoot though. Chance maybe if Unity maybe could have got the ball sort of into a more offensive position, but not much coming of it. Blade gets it past his man. Olympic will be dealt with a clearance. He does end up getting it. Chance now. Bigfoot hits into the middle. Blade's the first one there. Digital Devils seem a bit more complacent now. They have their 2-goal lead. Not wanting to throw it away. They're not sort of being too aggressive. They're making sure they have at least a strong third man, and seemingly they're playing very defensively, making sure they have 2 people back. Maybe not for the passing plays perhaps as much as they would be if they were down. But that's what we need to do at this point. You know, a game win is a game win, and currently they are looking relatively comfortable, even if Unity are getting a few more attacks going.
I feel like a big difference here for Digital Devils is Siphon actually really stepping up. I feel like in the first and second one, you know, he was making a lot more mistakes than he currently is. Olympic, we haven't been able to say too much about him today, but Olympic now able to get the third goal for Digital Devils in game 1, looking pretty comfortable score-wise.
Yeah, they've not really been challenged all that much, especially in the first half. Obviously, Unity unable to get really much going, and they're having a bit more sort of pressure going into the second half of this game. But so far, nothing that I would argue was too much for Digital Devils to deal with, as Olympics sort of just happening to be there for that, just sort of floating in the air, having to get a touch, and just Bigfoot hits that into the middle. But yeah, so far it's been a comfortable game 1 for Digital Devils, who just haven't really been asked many questions in defense, and when they have had their offense, they've been relatively clinical, obviously scoring 3 now. So if they can keep this up going to the rest of the series, you never know, they really are looking strong. But as I say that, Potato will find the first goal for Unity. The man, the dominus there, as Jopego, what a hit off the wall that was into the corner, and Potato able to capitalise, bring Unity back within 2.
Good touch indeed from Upego, and then a good follow-up from Potato. Unity, I do think they were looking slightly stronger than their scoreline kind of showed. Obviously, making important mistakes that led to those goals. Don't get me wrong, but overall, I feel like they look somewhat, you know, decent. It looks pretty tight between these two teams, and now getting that deserved goal, I would say, for Unity. And next game, it's probably going to be a lot more Croza here. Another good attempt here coming out from Digital Devils, but not quite able to beat the defense there. But the Unity definitely stepping up to the plate, and so far, you know, in this latter half of this game, it's looked pretty even.
Yeah, I suppose you always have to bring into the fact that Unity were obviously maybe warming up sort of at the start of the game, which is when they scored those 2 goals that you argue perhaps you wouldn't expect to see at this level of play. Just a lack of ability to clear the ball out at the start for Unity is what really sort of lowered their chances of winning this. Digital Devils were able to capitalise on it, but as you say, sort of within the second half, it has been a much closer series and lost. In the end, it will end up being a relatively comfortable win. I think going into next game, this could be a very, very close series. As you know, the first game sort of warm-up and jitters are now out of the window, and if the series continue as it has been for the last sort of 3 minutes of this game, we certainly have a close series on our hands. But it looks like Digital Devils will be taking game 1.
Yes, indeed, Digital Devils do get game 1 here, but it was an interesting one. Looked a little bit unusual. Obviously, you look towards that start of that game with a couple of really big mistakes coming out from Unity, but I do feel like they recovered a bit from that. And you know, I think you look at the second half of that game, it was pretty much 1-1. So still very tight between these two teams. Definitely can't really say that like there's an obvious better team so far, but Digital Devils so far have been the better team, and hopefully for them it continues. Siphon definitely stepping up to the plate a little bit after the previous 2 series not quite being that involved, and defensively not always in position, but looking to be a completely different player this series.
Yeah, I can only hope Digital Devils will be able to continue this run of form and maybe take the second game here on Forbidden Temple, as we should be getting underway very presently. The countdown begins for this 5 minutes. Digital Devils will have the momentum coming into having won that, but I think Unity obviously will take the positive as last game, as they were certainly a much stronger combatant within the last 3 minutes, and they can certainly show themselves up. Here's an early chance maybe for Yopego, who will end up capitalising just 10 seconds in. An early goal coming out for Unity, and Yopego will be rewarded with a goal to put his team in the lead.
We did say they looked a bit better in that latter half of the game 1, and momentum kind of continues going their way into game number 2. Digital Devils have to respond now, as they just had to stroll that last game. I really didn't have much competition overall, getting that early 2-goal lead here. Another good attempt coming out. Eventually, a couple of whips in the midfield. Blade will just try to get this one out just barely here. Another big shot coming out from Yopega will be barring out off the counter attack. Should have been a goal here. Olympic now with a good clearance. Might just get the second touch as well. Gets the dunk on Yopego. Now in enemy territory. That's it into the midfield here. Siphon there with a shot. Top corner will be in. And Digital Devils, they respond.
That was a sublime shot from Siphon, has to be said. And a very expertly placed hit on the ball, as you say, right into the top corner. Digital Devils just need to be careful. You know, I think they maybe need to make sure they're not underestimating their opponents here after their 3-1 victory last game. because I think the Unity have proven that they are a close matchup here, obviously with a few chances. I think obviously Opego almost getting his brace off the crossbar, unfortunate for him. And obviously we have managed to sort of respond there, getting that 1-1 Siphon, obviously standing out, getting that shot and putting it into the top corner. We just need to be careful now that we maintain our momentum, but as I say that, a good dunk coming in for Potato, and Blade will find the back of the net to make it 2-1.
An awkward 50 here, as you say. Bigfoot not quite able to get that in a safe position, just ends up 50ing it right in front of the net where another opponent can come in, take the goal, and that's exactly what Blade did here. It's now Siphon trying to double this, actually able to get to the bag, but at least poor touch here. Olympic trying to get to the midfield, might have hit it a bit too hard here. Bigfoot not quite getting the touch he wanted, but at least gets it in enemy territory for a while here. Potato off to the corner. Olympic with a big clearance. Bigfoot might not even have to touch it. A big whiff coming out from the defense. Olympic says go for it, so Digital Devils able to tie things up.
Right from his own half, look at that. I don't know what on earth. I mean, I guess Unity, the players just weren't expecting such a strong clearance from Olympic. It didn't even hit the floor once. You thought maybe Bigfoot was going to go for it there, but no, the opposite doesn't even need to go for it as Blade unable to get the touch. An interesting goal to see here from Digital Devils, but you know, you can't put that against them. Olympic, whether he was just going for a clearance or if he saw the mistake and then he makes a mistake himself. No, his Potato instantly responds, makes it a 3-2, and situation where Digital Devils are just tied up after a bit of a mishap from Unity in the defense that Olympic had managed to capitalize on, and immediately once again they're trailing.
Neither of these teams seem to be able to control their defense very well here, as both teams conceding very early after just scoring. A bit unfortunate for these two teams. Olympic with a good pass. Siphon is there, but can't quite make it in time. Now big clearance coming out for Unity. A bit awkward here for Digital Devils. Siphon will get it over to side. Bigfoot in position. Gets it over to Siphon off to the corner. So it goes back to the midfield. Shot not quite there. Olympic just tries to hit it over one. Potato there. Ends up kind of hitting it awkward, and I have to say earlier, maybe you would have said it was a big mistake off that big clearance from Olympic. You know, pretty impressive goal, but no, the clearance was just huge. So Olympic definitely looking a lot better here in this series. Also, I feel like every player has looked better from Digital Devils than what they did before. There's Olympic now in control here. Blade does get to stop. Now actually looking like maybe a little bit less goals coming in now.
Yeah, I mean 5 goals, maybe a chance here. Big Fish
Never
say
mind.
less goals, but we have 6 now. 3-3. The Digital Devils once again, after trailing, end up finding their mark and putting it into the back of the net to equalise. Will the sort of system continue and Unity will score another and then Digital Devils respond? Or will we finally see a break of the pattern and have Digital Devils score? It will remain to be seen. Hopefully they can continue this. Olympic unable to just about get a touch there. Siphon though, not much boost. Might be able to get another touch in the middle. No, easily cleared out in the end by Opego. Bigfoot bangs it off the wall, maybe finds Siphon. No, Olympic, it is up for it though, but unable to just about get the dunk off. Blade doesn't end up getting a touch, but not enough. Find the back of the net, another chance there in the middle, but no reception again from Olympic, unable to just about get the touch that maybe would have found the back of the net. Minute 33 remaining now. It's anyone's game as it's 3-3. You really couldn't guess who's going to win. There's a chance now though, there's another mistake coming out for Unity, and Bigfoot finds the back of the net.
Digital Devils, they always show up when they have to. As I've said earlier, this team has gone 1-2 in every single group stage this split, and they're looking to do that again in the first regional. They were able to clinch that 3-2 victory against SSA. It was such an impressive victory. And then in regional 2, they were able to get not revenge, but really get the grudge match against Fusion Esport as well. And it's always been that match that you kind of have to win. If they didn't win that match, they would have been out. So it looks like they really show up when they absolutely have to win. Olympic now up in the air, tries to get the reset, doesn't quite get it. Here now clearance, almost a big whiff coming out, but it doesn't actually matter. The bump came in the process. Now offense again coming out for Digital Devils, another ball in the midfield. Siphon is there, it might be too awkward here for Unity. Eventually they're able to get it out, but I have to say the defense of Unity has looked suspect.
Yeah, I think maybe Digital Devils really could have capitalised there and given 2-goal cushions a chance now for Unity. If Potato can find a way to get it to the middle, no, but Bigfoot's clearance not really there. Opego can't get it much into the middle. Potato ain't able to get a finishing touch. Opego one last touch to it, but no, a simple finish from the end for Cypher. Just 25 seconds remaining. All those have to do is hold on, take this game to match point. You think they really might have been able to have a 2-goal cushion as of yet as Olympic. Them as the goalkeeper, but it's actually Unity now. We're on the attack. Not much coming out of it there, though. A bump coming out big, but will have to make a save. He just about touches it. Can they clear it out, though? 5 seconds left on the clock. Referee has paused the game. Interesting.
Yeah, there was a request for a pause, but
yeah.
the pause is a bit delayed, but it does eventually come out.
Yeah.
I
Oh yeah,
believe.
Siphon lost
Yeah,
connection.
Siphon was AFK for a while. So I have to say there's a very, very, very late pause, but
Yeah.
maybe he just wanted to let the play happen in case it was a false pause and allow the goal to go in if it was a fair goal, which was fair enough. But seems they got the save in the end, so it didn't end up mattering even if it was not a legitimate connection error there. But turns out it was completely legit, so we would have been fine either way. But how to say, 4 seconds left. Surely Digital Devils in a good position to take the game.
I'm not saying anything just in case. I think even if there was a possibility that the goal that perhaps Unity could have scored there would have been sort of taken away, maybe because of the disconnects coming out from Siphon. But I think you have to give props to Bigfoot, who looked a little bit awkward on defense, but was just about able to get a vital touch to it, just about deny the equalising goal from Unity. I think I do want to point out that even though it might not have mattered in the end, I think it was definitely a great save and a very strong save in the end to keep his team in the play, regardless of the fact that it might not have mattered, and we're just waiting on Siphon. Now, obviously, there is actually an 8-minute timer, so technically we might have to FF this game, despite the fact that we're in the lead. You would hope that Siphon would be able to get back in, because it'd be a bit heartbreaking if, after a game like this with 7 goals and Digital Devils managing to pull it back to make it 4-3, it'd be heartbreaking if they have to end up FFing purely because of a disconnect. Because a match point at this point would be very strong for them. It would mean that obviously it would be a reverse sweep situation for Unity. They'd have no choice if they wanted to get through to the top 8. They would have to absolutely destroy Digital Devils in the rest of the series. And so far, it's looking good for them. Digital Devils, I mean. Even though the series is close, obviously, if they take this game, it will be a scenario where they are favourites of the series.
It would be a good situation if they're able to close this game out, and I feel like they're really expected to. I think that late save coming out from, I believe it was Bigfoot, really important. It's the type of save that really gets you the game win in the end. That defense late on to keep your lead. And I have to say though, Unity, even though they will be 2 games down, and you'd expect Digital Devils to close it out eventually, Unity in this exact same situation, 0-2. Both teams 0-2. You have to win this series to make it. They're 0-2 down. Have reverse swept before. They did it in the first regional, I believe, in this split against Fusion Esports. They were 2 games down, round 3. Both teams were going to get eliminated if they lost that series, and you'd expect Fusion to close that out, but no, it's actually a reverse sweep coming out from Unity in that one. So it's not like they've done it before, so I'm sure they can do it again. But, I guess it's a bit of a question of if they did it before, does that make it all the harder to replicate it, or does that actually increase the chances? I'm not sure, but Digital Devils, they're in a good spot.
Yeah, and you would hope that, assuming they don't have to FF this game, I really hope they don't, but you would hope that they would be able to close it out, assuming that they are given this game win. I assume, what would even happen if Siphon doesn't reconnect? What would happen in Siphon, I believe, just joined the party, so he should be coming back in regardless. But I do wonder what would have happened if he hadn't managed to get back in, as RLCS is asking. Bigfoot got a save, did. So I don't know what's going on here. I wonder if they're just going to continue from play, or what's going to happen here. Siphon there joining in, so bit of awkward defense here. I think it will be down to Olympic to probably get a touch out here, as the referee will eventually get it underway. Hopefully, I don't think they'll be going from kickoff. At least I doubt it. Oh no, we are going to restart. Okay, so
they should have a bit of time, in my opinion, if that's the case.
Yeah, I think the whole case will be whether if there was, they cannot afford to concede the kickoff goal here, because that would just be heartbreaking, and it would mean we'd have overtime, unless obviously the chance it didn't go to 0 seconds. But I mean, it shouldn't be overtime for that. So yeah, I think going from kickoff, this will be down to whether Digital Devils can get a strong hit to the ball.
Will be a very important kickoff here. as it will be starting very, very soon. Digital Devils, can they maintain the lead to get their? They kept themselves
Hey,
into
what added time?
onto match point. They're discussing a little bit in the chat on the rulings on the current situation, but I guess Digital Devils. I'm not sure if you. I guess you want as little time as possible, but you never know. If they do concede a kickoff goal, they might actually want time, so it's a bit of a weird situation. But I think in the end, you'd still prefer as little time as possible, so they're probably going to be fine with having no time added.
An argument going on here, I think. Yeah, we've got an argument going on here. Unity are begging for the 10-second.
There we
Already,
go.
they will be given it. They'll be given the 10 seconds. I think actually, we made there if he's only adding 6. He's going to put it to the 10-second countdown, perhaps. Yeah, so sort of a mid ground, but in the end, you know, you can argue that's a little bit mean. I mean, you'd think the person who would be asking for the time back would be the team who had lost the player. In this situation, it wasn't the team who lost the player who'd want the time
Well, yeah,
back.
they have to come back, right? Of course they want the time. They'll take everything they get here. Good kickoff here, goes laterally. Yopego actually gets to the midfield. Blade is right there. Can he get a good touch? Off to the back, but should be a bit clearance now. And that should be hitting the ground. Oh,
no.
It's actually kept up here. Potato with a clearance. Siphon does hit it on the ground. No, Yopego still keeps it up, and eventually another clearance comes in. Was a little bit scary, but Digital Devils, they close it out.
I was terrified. That was, potato cooling toxicity. Well, you know, just don't ask for extra added time. You know, that sounds like a bit of a you problem. Yeah, that's 6 seconds was needed as Olympic. Maybe we should keep it cool here, Olympic. It's not necessary. Ended up winning. Don't worry about it. It's going to be a grudge match going to the next one, if anything. Because they're going to be, you know, Unity are going to be thinking, oh, this guy, you know, he's just being mean to us in the chat. We need to win it to make sure that we can put him in place. So maybe I think the mentals going into this actually might be playing a factor. Unity are gonna feel like the Olympics just being needlessly toxic apparently. But I think in the side Devils that won't really play that much of an effect, and they will be going into this match looking to take it.
Olympic, quite the outspoken individual on the Digital Devils side here. But here an early attempt, Blade almost able to beat the defense, but defense holding strong early on for Digital Devils. Not back foot, going for the backboard there, but a good defensive stop from Potato. Here, big demo from Yopego. Bigfoot beaten there by Blade. Defense kind of holding strong so far in the first 30 seconds for both teams. Now on the side here, Bigfoot trying to get us in midfield. Can't quite get it as far as he wants to, Yopego, but again, interception on that play. Olympic trying to stay control here, gets the reset. At least able to sort of increase the length of that play, just wasting a bit of time whilst he couldn't do too much. And first minute so far, not really been too eventful, but looking like a close matchup.
Yeah, obviously you can never count out any goals at this point, because actually there might be a chance there as Blade will find the back of the net, but I was saying you can't count out any goals because, you know, there were so many goals last series that you never know what's going to happen going into this game. Unity actually will end up finding the back of the net first, though, which is not the kind of start they would have been looking for. They'd have been looking to close us off as soon as possible, and, you know, getting a goal early on for them would have maybe sort of been a solid situation, as Bigfoot actually will end up rectifying that mistake, though. 1-1 immediately. It might be another goal thriller in the end. There's 7 goals coming out last time, and just a minute and 7 seconds in now, we've already had 2, and we're already back to an equal scoreline.
Immaculate placement, immaculate power, just an instant response. It's been such a common occurrence in this series, Unity and Digital Devils just constantly responding every time they concede. It's been quite the entertaining show a match here a little bit. Here, Blade just not quite able to get that last touch here. Bigfoot able to get it laterally off to Olympic. Been a bit of a mechanical play here, almost getting it under everyone, but eventually goes off to the side. Your early challenge, Bigfoot just has to clear it out. Olympic will get a redirect, will be down, in and out. Not quite on target. It was, maybe it could have rolled in eventually, but the save comes in as it was just rolling too slowly. Would have been a highlight play for Olympic and the Digital Devils here, but unfortunately, good defense from Unity stops it.
Yeah, that was so close, man. Oh, I am just so sad. That's not going to alone. No, maybe a chance here for Unity, and they will capitalize. Blade gets his second of the match. I'm still not over that Olympic shot. That was such a sublime effort from him. A mechanical play that would have been if he, well, I'd say mechanically just tapped it down at such an angle that almost finds its way in. and that would have really been a highlight, as you'd say, and that ends up actually resulting in a counter coming out from Unity, and they make it 2-1 going into the last 2 minutes and 50 seconds. Charles
Oh.
down big, but oh, what a play that would have been! Sort of loads of outlandish shots coming out now from Digital Devil. So they're desperate to find another equalising goal now. Charles Potato, you think really should have capitalised there? Oh my goodness! Wow, it finally finds its way in. Gapego shot off the crossbar, unable to find its mark, and unfortunately then Potato rectified his mistake, gets a tap in. 2-goal cushion now for Unity. And will Digital Devils be able to find their way back?
In the right place at the right time. Oh, actually, a
Oh,
disconnect coming out again.
Stop the
There's
count!
no call for a pause eventually. Oh, the pause came in before the request. But yeah, another AFK pause there. I don't think any goals will be taken away, but yeah, we'll be having a pause it again. Hopefully this is a shorter one than last, but no guarantees.
Yeah, Siphon again with the DC on Seed Sky needs to get a better insight. Yeah, that's unfortunate. And that will sort of break up. That actually might end up being good for us because it might cancel out the momentum that the Digital Devils have ended up losing to Unity after 3-1 coming as we will restart eventually. So hopefully going into the sort of last half of this match, the momentum that Unity had gained will be lost, which is kind of a mean thing to say, but this is a Digital Devils broadcast. Of course, I'm going to be hoping that they will sort of be able to bring this back and take a sweep. That would always be nice. Obviously, even if they lose this game, they still have that buffer of one game, but I certainly think they would be wanting to take this to game 5, because that would be Unity with just a lot of momentum. We only have 4 minutes to get Siphon back in, which isn't great. He took about 4 minutes last time to get back in. So a little bit worrying now as to whether we will get our third player back into the match time. If not, then again, I'd assume it would be a disconnect forfeit.
It would be unfortunate. Surely it would be only one game of FF. Surely there's an extra timer for the full series as FF. Especially considering we're so up in this series, would be a big shame here. It's been a pretty competitive series so far. Obviously, Unity in the first game not so much impressive, but definitely coming back into that game late on. Not so much in actual goals, but just general play everywhere around the field, and which was then kind of showed in the second game. But eventually, Digital Devils able to close that out barely, and this one now actually Unity looking better than Digital Devils. So Unity are looking to come back here, and maybe this is a tactical pause to stop the momentum from being in Unity's favor. I'm not sure. It's it's unfortunate we got another pause here, but hopefully he can get back in time.
Yeah, it's a bit worrying. There's just nothing here for the Devils on whether Olympic City is coming back, but is that like coming back now? Bigfoot says 2 minutes. I'm not sure how long the clock's been running for. The referee might have a word or two about that. He just puts yup in chat though, so it would seem that we'd be fine. Well, Bigfoot already saying he is back. Yeah, so he's launching the game. So I assume, I hope that the timer is not going to have run down. We'll be getting back in sort of before the timer concludes, because as we saw in the previous series, even if you're just a few seconds out of the timer, you are forced to take the FF, even if you were just 3 seconds away from being in the match. It's an unfortunate scenario, but they do have to keep to the rules. So hopefully we'll get Siphon back in, and hopefully again it sounds. I feel mean saying it, but hopefully the momentum that Unity have gained will sort of peak to that a little bit, just from the fact that we've had this 2-3 minute pause, and hopefully the Devils can take advantage of that and bring this game back.
Well, at least they will be fully aware of the situation they're in. Sometimes when you get that 3-1 lead, you've got a 2-goal lead, which isn't that comfortable. Maybe you're playing a little bit too aggressive. If you didn't have that pause, that moment to tell your team, like, okay, this is sort of the plays we want to be doing so that we don't quite commit. Obviously, we want to still be making threatening plays, but we don't want to commit the full team when we have a 2-goal lead, especially when you're in a situation like this, when you can't really afford to lose any games, right? You have to win this game or else you're out of the event. That's your split done. looks like we will be getting the game underway again here as we get the kickoff underway.
Yeah, we can only hope that the Siphon doesn't end 50 again, as the referee just said. Only a minute and 14 left on the clock. Should he disconnect once more? Actually, this might be a terrible scenario. Oh no! We were hoping the momentum that Unity would have gained would have been lost after that pause, but if they did lose it, they'll have found it once again. A very, very quick goal coming out there. Potato again gifted with a just clean and sheet open net. 2 minutes 24 remaining now. Digital Devils, who have been the side who have been winning these games now, 3 goals away from finding the sweep.
Bigfoot to get us to the midfield. Only met by Opega though. Actually going for the double tap. Olympic with an important save. Siphon just about able to get there. But 3 goals to make up will be a lot of work here. And it starts here. No, it gets saved by Blade. Unity able to hold on onto their 3-goal lead here. Olympic. Oh, double commit save here on the side of Digital Devils. Opens up a little bit of space. Bigfoot with a good save. Olympic tries to get it to Bigfoot. Might be just be on target a little bit too high, but should be open. Siphon able to get it on target into the bottom corner, and they'll be within 2.
Yeah, a small heart attack moment where I genuinely thought Siphon had put it a little bit too far left, but luckily it just tucks neatly into the bottom corner there to, as you say, bring them back within 2, and that's the sort of goal they need, you know. A nice little passing play, Olympic over to Bigfoot off the backboard, over to Siphon. If they can get those going more and more, they may well actually be able to bring this back. As I said, 2 goals now, so they need to take it to overtime, or even just bring them back within equal, depending on how quickly they can find those said goals. As it has a bit of a terrible pass to the middle from Olympic there, perhaps expected Bigfoot to be in the middle, but he will end up making the save to keep them within 2. Maybe a chance coming up here for Digital Devils. Olympic up for the ball. Actually opts to let Bigfoot get the touch, and a great save coming up from Blade. Olympic can't get the best of rebound touches. A minute remaining, still 2 goals in it for Unity.
Siphon has to start this counter-attack sooner rather than later, because they don't have a lot of time here. Still 2 goals to make up. Upego to get it in blue territory here. Olympic trying to get it out here, but they can't quite get it out consistently and actually starting their plays. Unity responding everywhere in the pitch here. Opego here again in the midfield, able to get it to Potato off to the backboard. Bigfoot looking a bit awkward, but just about able to get it out. Siphon able to meet the offensive player there, but again they're not quite able to clear this ball cleanly and able to get it to a teammate. Looks like they're just trying to scramble it out.
Yeah, only 28 seconds remaining now. Another save coming out from Blade after a non-satisfactory shot from Olympic. It is looking like game 3 is going to go to Unity, and Digital Devils will have to regain and maybe take it in the next one. 15 seconds remaining. It's not impossible, but you have to say it's unlikely certainty. 10-second countdown begins, and actually Bigfoot's shot not quite on target. Siphon can't find the read, and maybe a goal that actually would have given them maybe a bit of hope, a favourite kickoff goal maybe coming out had they scored that. But no, the ball hits the ground. A 4-2 victory for Unity that might allow them to come back into this series.
It is about deserve, but I have to say, you know, for Digital Devils, at the beginning of this game, remember, they were kind of popping off. The shots kind of show it as well. They were popping off at the start of this game. They were going for really, really mechanical plays. Unfortunately, I think they were a little bit overconfident going into this third match. I think, you know, getting those 2 games, only needing 1 more game to sweep, I think they were truly trying to go with the flow and just go for the most mechanical plays you could go for. But unfortunately, I think they were going for plays a little bit too hard for them, essentially. Although a couple of them did look good, but it weren't quite good enough to actually end up working out. So looks like they kind of have to go back to reality here and step down a level in order to potentially go up a level to actually beat Unity in game number 4.
All eyes will be on them to see if they can take this win that will get them into that play scenario that they desperately want. See, wait on Siphon, who I sincerely hope. Oh no, he's a spy. Siphon, no. Siphon, don't.
He only has 1 minute, by the way.
Yeah, he has 1 minute and 14 seconds. If he's
if he disconnects, he's ready to.
It might have just been a scenario where it's sometimes Rocket League kicks you from the party, and that just happens. Yeah, it's not a disconnect, thank God.
Yeah, if he disconnects again, he only has 1 minute and 14 seconds to rejoin.
Oh, this time Blade asking for the pause. There's no way, surely not.
Oh, okay, somebody got kicked out.
Kick out.
Somebody got kicked out, it seems.
Yeah.
Well, Upego does rejoin the match.
Okay, we
Should have rejoined in time. Olympic being as vocal as ever, but we do eventually get game number 4 underway in Utopia Coliseum.
Yeah, and as I said, Digital Devils will be looking to close a series off, but as I say that, no! Pego, the man who'd lost connection to the game, able to quickly strike, and yeah, that's really not the best scenario. Cyber beaten out quite quickly, just 5 seconds off the clock, and already Unity have found their way into the lead.
This is one of those series where it's so close, and those first 2 games sort of showing it. Like this is one of those series that you really want to close out the sweep here, because when the teams are so close, if the other team starts getting momentum, it's going to become harder and harder, and eventually the series might just run away a little bit from you. As now Siphon trying to get something here, but again, good defense by Unity, and I feel like ever since the start of last game, and even a bit in the second game, Unity have just looked a little bit better at times, and it's becoming more and more of a consistent factor here. Digital Devils, they've done it in the past, in this series especially, so much, but they do have to respond quickly.
Yeah, obviously being a goal down now might be a bit of a dampener on their momentum, a bit of a dampener on sort of how they're feeling. Mentalities might be making them sort of shudder a little bit, maybe worrying a little bit, maybe they feel like they're going to throw this away, because it certainly would be a scenario where they'll feel like they'll have thrown it if they end up losing this series, especially after being 2 games up. You'd think they were just so close yet so far to winning it if they end up bottling this to Unity. But a lot of time left on the clock, has to be said. They just have to find 1 goal, they end up taking it back to equal, and then it's all square. And they can certainly carry that wave and maybe score another one. They need to try and replicate the success they found in the first 2 games, certainly. Maybe another close game. 4-3 is actually, there might be an open net. Surely not! No, Digital Devils! Completely leaving their net unattended. And Potato, who clearly saw the completely gaping hole, just slams it into Digital Devils' net, and suddenly they're trailing by 2. A defensive mishap, to be sure.
It's a mistake we kind of saw Digital Devils make earlier against the likes of Apex and Nixa, when they were kind of getting desperate, and you gotta be asking yourself, are they getting desperate here against Unity? Because they can't really afford to. They have to realize that they're a better team, but they can't really get an ego here. They have to realize the opposition they're against, and have to meet them with quality. A good defensive play there from Olympic. Bigfoot trying to get it out, gets a decent 50, but not quite the one he wanted. Blade now will counter-attack, just in the midfield, a big whiff coming out, and Digital Devils, they do not look like themselves.
Hard to watch, it's just not the same team we saw not even just 10 minutes ago in the first 2 games. As Europego makes that 3. 2 minutes 52 on the clock, surely Digital Devils aren't going to throw this series this hard. If it ends up being a close game 5 or something, fair enough. But I mean, in game 4 here, they're just completely bottling it. A chance
that was open, by the way.
Get 1 more goal back. It was an open net, as you say, but it won't match on the end. Bigfoot will able to find the back of the net, and they need to take that in stride. They need to take that goal and regain their confidence, because I assume it's the confidence they've lost. They're missing something they already had, sort of proven they had in the previous games, even in previous series, especially against Nixa, where they did show themselves to be quite a formidable opponent, even if they weren't able to take a game off them. I think they, and especially in the first 2 games of this series, they were just a very strong side. And going into these last couple, they've just definitely lost something they need to regain. A double commit coming out there. Nothing really coming of it in the end. Potato perhaps going up for this. Will they get the read off the backboard? It will actually go down, and Europego will find the back of the net again. Potato just was not challenged at all. And yeah, look at that.
Oh, he was challenged. He was challenged. It was 2 people pre-jump challenged, which only left 1 player back, hoping that he would just
on his own there.
Yeah, he just had to hope that the player coming in couldn't get there faster than him. But unfortunately, you could see the play a lot easier from his angle. And I was gonna say earlier, the good thing about Digital Devils, conceding so many early is that at least they have time to come back. But now another one comes in, and becoming less likely now is another good play. Unity are just looking so clear right now. They're looking like clearly the better team now. It's not even remotely close in this game. And Europego trying to continue it on now, looking to get the reset. Yes, he does. Off to the corner we go, though. Defense holding on now, but it hasn't for large portions of the game, and it continues to not do so as Europego gets the 5th, and it looks like Champions Field is looming.
Yeah, a comeback is just not going to happen here on Utopia Coliseum. They're just being absolutely torn apart, and that really doesn't air well going into Champions Field, because can you imagine what we're going through the minds of Digital Devils? Starting off that game, they will be absolutely terrified of throwing away. Next game, I genuinely think that if Digital Devils concede first on Champions Field, that may well be them done. I don't think they'll regain from that. They need to try and stay strong going into the next game, because there's no sort of being euphemistic. They have been convincingly destroyed here in Game 4, and there's really little chance of a comeback, especially considering how they're currently playing. They need to try and recapture their spirit, the spirit that they have shown previously in the tournament as of yet, and that if they do show, they will certainly have a great chance of being able to beat Unity. But it will be Unity going into the next game, have all the momentum. They'll be feeling the rush of having almost reverse swept. It'll be one game away for both teams, and maybe a chance here for Siphon to get a consolation goal, to be fair. 36 remaining, 3 goals is possible. I think that will more act to maybe try and act as a sort of catalyst for the continuation of maybe a stronger play coming out of Digital Devils going into Game 5.
Hopefully for them, but I have to say, fair play to Unity. They have the experience of reverse sweeping in this exact scenario, and looks like they're really attempting to replicate it with a lot of force as well. Here, good play coming out, a great bump here, very aggressive, but at this point, why not? 18 seconds left. They're just trying random stuff at the latter stage of this game, and it's a good strategy here, essentially, being really aggressive, and 18 seconds left. They're trying to get any momentum. They haven't really, their soul hasn't quite been beaten down completely yet.
Yeah, they're clearly still willing to give it a go. They clearly haven't given up as of yet, as Bigfoot shot again, but they just said that. I also thought if that went in, I was genuinely going to like start to be like, okay, maybe they will bring this back in this game. But as the 10-second countdown begins to tick down, it's not going to happen here in Game 4. But 2 quick consecutive goals coming out from Digital Devils right at the end, sort of as the dying seconds died down here in Game 4. I think the 2 goals that they did score is maybe what they need to sort of try and keep themselves sort of within the spirits and sort of keep their heads high going into the next game. Because if they go into the next one expecting to lose, they will lose. They need to be confident going into it.
They do, and I think it might be important to just take a little bit of time here. Maybe they felt really confident in that last minute or so, which, to be fair, they did look a bit better than what they did before. But yeah, I think overall they might just have to take a bit of time here to kind of recollect themselves. Not just hoping that the momentum goes away a little bit for Unity, but also just themselves, make sure that they're in the right mindset, because they can't really afford going into this Game 5 being tilted. And time is one of the greatest healers of this, mental damage. So just taking just a minute here, taking the full minute, which it looks like Olympic is doing for Digital Devils here, it will be important. And Unity, they've had experience of reverse sweeping in this exact scenario. I said it before, but we'll see whether it can actually close out the reverse sweep.
Yeah, well, all the pressure will be mounting on both teams. Unity will be hoping they can bring the reverse sweep back. Digital Devils will be hoping they won't bottle the series. All eyes on Champions Field now in Game 5, as even the RLCS referee has to point out that it's Game 5 in chat for some reason. I don't know why he...
Hey, he's done it for every game. He's done it for every game.
Has he done that? I honestly haven't noticed that, to be honest. Oh, it's an early chance. Olympic. Oh, a shot coming out, but Pego, an early save. Maybe a bit momentum in offense, maybe for Digital Devils at the start. An early goal from them would be absolutely instrumental to their confidence going to the rest of the game. And if they can find it, that would be great. But maybe a chance for Blade. No, saved out by Bigfoot. Olympic, maybe into the backboard. Actually might be on target. Saved out by Blade. Bigfoot now tries to get into the middle. Maybe there'll be someone there. Siphon is. Can't quite get the shot on target. But Olympic's there and he will find the back of the net. A first goal that I think was so important to their chances of winning this Game 5, and they will find it with Olympic. 1-0 to Digital Devils, and they are looking good now to take the series.
Such a crucial goal there for Olympic and Digital Devils, but even more importantly, they have to keep it up now. It's been so many instant responses here. Olympic trying to fake one out, unable to do so, but looking threatening at the very least. Siphon now over to the side, unable to get that second touch. The interception there coming out from Unity, but overall, Digital Devils definitely looking like the better team. Unity a little bit panicky here, really desperate to close out this reverse sweep, but the net has been left completely open, and Yopego capitalizes.
Just Devils, what are you doing? You can't just leave it that open like that. There's another scenario like that in the previous game where there was just no one in defense. What are you doing, lads? You need to make sure you aren't conceding stupid goals like that, because that will end up killing your chances in this series. 1 minute and 3 seconds gone off the clock. Another chance maybe now for Unity, saved out by Olympic. Bigfoot, a bit awkward though. Maybe it needs to be a clearance from Siphon here. Does end up getting said clearance. Might not be able to beat Upego to the ball, but actually ends up faking it. Siphon was thoroughly convinced he was going to have to try and get a dunk there. As Olympic trying to find a way to get this into the middle. Bigfoot might be the one who does it. Can't quite do much, but it is Siphon on the ball. It might find its way to the middle. Not the greatest touches by Tato, but Olympic go quite high to get a touch there. A chance maybe, luckily not quite an open net as Siphon was able to get back in time, but another chance here for Unity. Potato is up for it, cleared out by Olympic.
Here and again in the midfield, Upego. He's been such a fast player. I think when he was still on Dynamic, I don't think he was necessarily known for his speed, but on this roster specifically, I feel like his midfield speed has been such a big factor for Unity's comeback here. Olympic going all the way on his own, almost getting the bump as well. And now very awkward here for Digital Devils. 150 comes in, Siphon now in control. Again, Upego with that midfield challenge, just pole chasing on that play, making it so annoying to deal with. The Olympic unable to get the 50. Bigfoot, a big whiff coming out as well. At least Siphon comes out with the clearance. Pretty much halfway into this game, it's been a very close one. But I have to say, Digital Devils, they were looking so much better earlier. Shot comes in a bit wide. Bigfoot keeps it in orange territory, but nobody quite able to commit to it. It's been pretty close, but the one goal that came in for Unity was such an uncharacteristic mistake for Digital Devils, at least based on this game. I feel like overall they've been so solid, and just one mistake out of nowhere, you wouldn't really expect that, and then now double commit coming out as well. Potato might just get this to a good position, all to the back, but able to clear it was Bigfoot.
Yeah, I agree. It was kind of uncharacteristic, and they seemed so much stronger coming into this game in comparison to the game before. They had mentally reset clearly, and they just ended up leaving their net open. Few more chances having come out for them so far, but both teams have had opportunities. And argue recently, Digital Devils have the more. Oh my goodness, I was going to say Digital Devils have the sort of more chances, but I was going to say Unity maybe with almost scoring perhaps more often. But then I thought there, Digital Devils maybe were going to have a goal there. Played it to slam on the brakes just to make sure he didn't own goals. Olympic tries to get a shot going here in the last minute and 40. I think maybe even one goal now would be a clenching goal for the series. Olympic might have had a shot, just about saved out by Blade.
Upego now on the counter attack, tries to do it all on his own, gets a decent 50 here as well. The Olympic will be in position, gets it out with a 50. Bigfoot on the counter attack, gets it onto the backward. Upego there though, able to get this one out together. Passes it great to Potato, back to Blade as it gets it over to the blue corner. The Olympic alone in defense, has to get a good touch, does get a good one enough. Looked pretty awkward there, had a lot of responsibility there, pretty much the only one there, and had to put it across his own net. The ball actually over to Olympic again, puts the ball on the backboard. Is there some reception in the midfield? Siphon there for the shot, but saved by Upego. Seems like nobody can quite beat the defense. It's been quite a while in this game. It gets a lot more tense now. Game 5, 1 minute remaining. Olympic to the midfield, Potato there. Doesn't get it far away, but eventually gets the follow-up. Now, Bigfoot to respond back to the orange side, but again, nobody quite able to make quality opportunities.
Yeah, I'd even say the Digital Devils have looked very shaky on defense more recently. Clearly the nerves setting in. They really don't want to lose this game. They can't afford to lose this game. Even if can. Siphon has a chance and does end up backing a pinch into the net with 22 seconds remaining. And Unity this time with a defensive mistake. Siphon able to tap it past Potato, who was just rolling up the wall. 23 seconds remaining. I said a goal at this point might just spark the end of the series, as there have been so few goals in this game in comparison to what we've seen previously in the series. It will all be all eyes. Oh no, surely not! Unity in a game that has seen so few chances taken advantage of, with Digital Devils finding a second goal to put them into the lead, a goal that I thought would maybe surely secure it. Unity instantly respond. Upego finds a goal instantaneously, and now it looks like we might have overtime.
It seems like Unity's signature move is the instant response, as now 2 seconds remaining. Hits the ground, and we will be going to overtime.
Yeah, honestly, it's anyone's game, but as I said, I do want to make them win out. I think the Devils have had a very strong attacking presence in this game, but their defense has looked shaky. Surely not Bigfoot shot off the post. So close to finding a game and series winning goal there. Strong clearance there by Olympic. And Digital Devils, I think they do need to try and find a goal relatively quickly because their defense hasn't been their strongest point in this game. It's how long they can hold on. Olympic now trying to get something going. Blade can't get the best of clears. Maybe a chance if any reception from Digital Devils. Not quite. It was a little bit awkward. Siphon hits that into the wall for Olympic. Maybe going for an air dribble here. Doesn't seem to have the boost. Gonna get the dunk. Not quite. Blade able to tap it off to the side with a save. Chance now maybe for a Unity. Siphon hits it up. Only as far as Blade though. Olympic makes it a little bit awkward, but does end up getting a save over. Another chance. Potato hits it into the middle. Olympic's awkward. Surely not Bigfoot with a vital clearance to keep his team alive. Chance now if Siphon gets what a hit from him, but Blade with another save to maintain the overtime here. Siphon and maybe an open net there, but no, Blade able to get back the shot, not quite on Olympic, can't get it into the middle of the safe and go Pego. Unity are holding on. It's anyone's game in overtime. Maybe a chance for Unity, but no, Siphon gets a touch.
Oh, awkward read here. Bigfoot might just have an open net. Another touch comes in. It's not in. Oh no! It gets cleared out. It was on the goal line. It was right there, but they could not capitalize. Unity, they get away with it. Now 1 minute and 30 in overtime, and Digital Devils, they have not scored.
The door was open for Digital Devils.
No!
Potato, no! In a game where Digital Devils at least 3 points looked like they were gonna take it. In overtime, the ball was literally bouncing on the Unity line. And then a comeback from Unity. Potato able to get it past the defense. It's a horror show for Digital Devils, who were just infinitesimally close to finding their way into the top 8. But it won't happen in the end. And Unity take the series.
Fair enough, Unity. They've done it again. They've got experience doing it, and they've done it time and time again. It seems Unity able to get the reverse sweep in round number 3, where they could not afford a loss, or else they would be eliminated from the main event. But Unity do move on to playoffs. They'll be looking to see whether they can improve on this as well. I don't think they've made, no, they have actually made playoffs before this split, but they have not progressed to top 8 at any point during the split. So they'll be looking to improve on their previous performances, seeing if they can make that top 8. But I have to say, it was a very, very tight series, and Unity just about deserving to move on.
Yeah, I have to. You do have to give props to Unity because 2 games down, didn't let themselves go under. They just managed to find a frankly, admittedly strong comeback, especially in overtime. That it looked like it was. You have to admit, I can't believe that there was, Digital Devils were unable to sort of find the goal. Obviously, it was so close at multiple moments, and you think maybe in an alternate universe we will be sort of praising Digital Devils here for managing to make it through, but alas, not this universe, as Unity do able to find that goal in overtime to kick them out.
Unfortunately, Digital Devils have been knocked out here, but today it wasn't their best look. They know they could have done better. They know they could have won that series. So even though they should be absolutely bummed about today and that series in particular, knowing that maybe they should have swept it, because I feel like in Game 3 they got a little bit cocky, and then from there on it was a little bit of a downhill spiral for them. Unity, an upward spiral for them. So going into the next split, I feel like Digital Devils, they should be worried about that result in terms of just, they should be unhappy with it. But going forwards, I think they should know they're capable of a lot better. And in the split, they have done better. And I think, at their peak, they are able to make a top 8. So shouldn't be too down on themselves in the future. And kind of believe in themselves in the future as well. But regardless, our teams here will be ending here, considering their elimination from the main event, going 0-3, of course. As usual, it's been a pleasure casting with you, Timins. Again, shout out to Digital Devils for allowing us to cast them for this event. I'm gonna do a bit of a promo in the chat. Go make sure to follow their socials, and we will be heading out. Hopefully we'll see you for maybe the next split if we cast them again, but until then we'll catch you later.